So
Kee
good.
Yew.
Hello, Francesca. It's a lovely, lovely Sunday to be with you today.
Um, it's so great that you could join us today. Um, so, yeah, everybody, I'm Francesca Morinke. I am actually the founder of Awaken Soul, and it is a lifestyle brand and community that helps elevate others to higher states of consciousness through conscious living, wellness, life force nutrition, prayer, yoga, meditation, sound therapy, and other modalities. So today I am super excited to introduce you to one of my nutrition mentors, Kee Yew Wong. He is actually the pioneer of the veg school. So Veg School is like it's an educational company for public education of healthy vegetarian holistic living. Right. So well, so so glad that you could join us today, Kiyu.
It's my
Please,
pleasure.
yes. So please tell us a little bit about yourself and the Veg School.
Oh, all right, okay. Whenever I'm being asked this kind of question, I kind of get tongue-tied because, where do I start from introducing myself? But basically, for many people who out there who doesn't know me yet, basically, I'm a vegan for 18 years now, and I've been trying to promote a healthy and scientific way of eating our vegan diet properly. That's the basic, the nut of it. So I'm game for anything that actually will help advance veganism in every part of the world here. But don't get me wrong, that I'm not a vegan fanatic. I'm not an extremist because I all I want to do is that I would like people to understand what truly a proper vegan diet is. So I set up the school called this educational company called the Vet School in Singapore. While I'm actually a Malaysian, yeah. So I happen to be working in Singapore for more than perhaps more than 15 years or so, and so I'm I spent a long time in Singapore when during my vegan path, and I noticed a lot of people who are actually very interested to do their part to help the world, to improve improve humanity, to bring more greener future to Earth and all this. But they eventually have a hard time doing what they want to do because they know it's not so nice to eat too much meat. They wanted to ditch away meat, but they realize later on that when they are off meat, they have a lot of issue. They have a lot of troubles with their health and all this. That's because they don't get to eat their vegan diet in a balanced way. So my job here nowadays is to actually help educate the public how to eat them in a proper manner, in a nutritionally balanced way on the vegan path. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's wonderful.
Right.
And so how long have you been vegan? And
18 years.
wow, 18
Yeah.
years. That's a long time.
Mm.
um, and do you sometimes like miss eating meat or dairy or
No, I would say it was quite an amazing journey when I first started on vegan path. Basically, I thought so too. Like many other peoples who, when they first started to go vegan, they thought they would have to go through a lot of battling in the mind. A lot of contradiction, a lot of suppression and all this. But it turned out that it was a very very smooth and happy path to be on vegan because I told myself how I actually started as a vegan. I told myself, okay, I'm going to ditch all meat today, and in case I really feel bad about it, I'll just go back to meat anytime. And I'll tell I told myself, okay, people told me that vegan diet may not be very very nourishing, maybe may not be very balancing 18 years ago. So I'll tell myself, I told myself, if let's say, I become malnourished, I'll just go back to meat. But the issue is, I never get now malnourished, so I didn't have the excuse to go back to meat at all. So what happened is that when I first started on the vegan on my vegan diet, right, I had very good support from the Vegetarian Society of Singapore that time, and they provided me a lot of information on how to eat a vegan diet in a proper way. And I also happened to be so lucky to be able to attend a lot of health seminars organized by the Vegetarian Society of Singapore that time. So I learned from a lot of experts from vegan doctors, vegan nurses, and vegan whoever athletes and all this. They tell us a lot of their the way of eating and all this. So you know what? I I started off my vegan path in my mid 20s and all this, and I didn't have to do a lot of battling. Within 2 weeks, my tongue changed. My tongue actually told me that vegan food is the thing that I need actually. So I never looked back. Actually, I never thought so too. I thought I would be craving for meat after I've gone into vegan path, but uh, I quickly get adapted to vegan diet and did not have any cravings 2 weeks after. Just 2 weeks. Because as I teach in my vegan nutrition class nowadays, I tell students, the reason why one person is so attached to meat is because the basal nourishment, the fundamental, the foundational nourishment, which is the plant-based regime of one's diet, is weak actually. When the plant-based foundation is weak, then you will be craving for the meat which is on top of the pyramid, which is a kind of supplement. Yeah. So that's why a lot of people they can't give away meat because they have not been paying attention in building a strong nutritional foundation, which is grain based, vegetable based, fruit based, and then nut and seeds and legumes, then egg and milk, and then on top it is the meat. So those are the top part of the whole pyramid. The further it goes to the top part of the pyramid, the more supplementary role that it plays, basically. So that is the reason why I tell people why I did not get craving after I gone vegan, because I really took care of my nourishment. And whereas if you see other people who actually gone into the vegan path for 1 month, 3 months, or even 1 year, and then they went back to eating meat because they didn't have enough time to manage, they didn't have enough effort to put in to manage the fundamental nourishment. That's why they have to go back to meat. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, wow. Would you say that like vegans and vegetarians are a lot healthier than meat eaters?
I would say in this in a more in a fairer way. Whether you are omnivore, whether you are eating meat, or whether you are not eating meat, both requires a proper management. Whatever regime you're in, you requires a specific set of so-called protocol, specific set of so-called management skills for different regimes of diet. If you're in a certain regime of diet and you do not do it in the proper way, then you fail that regime. If you do another regime, you do not follow that specific regime's way as well, then you also fail that. So I would say if you are on an omnivorous diet, if you do not know how to eat your omnivorous diet properly, you will be unhealthy. But if you're on a vegan diet, if you do not follow the management for vegan diet the way it should be, you also will fail your vegan diet. You will also become unhealthy. So it is as I always mention in the nutritional class, it is always the so-called the management that matters. It's not really that much. Of course, whatever you eat dictates how your outcome of your health is, but management plays also a huge part in your overall healthy diet. For example, for a person who want to continue eat meat, but if you do not know that meat is actually playing a supplementary role, that means it is actually has to be taken in a very small amount, and you day in day out take too much meat. That means you are failing your regime. You're failing your regime. So in that sense, if you continue to eat meat by eating out of proportion amount of meat, then you will fail your regime. Then you will be unhealthy on that meat eating regime. Whereas for vegetarian diet, vegan diet, if and we know that your foundation is very important, which is brown rice base, which is six plant parts and six colors. If you fail that, even though you don't eat meat, you seem to be like healthier than other people because you don't take in a lot of toxins that comes along with meat. But you fail your foundation, you also will become very unhealthy on a vegan diet. So the emphasis is on the management of the diet.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, for me, I just feel that, eating meat is it really that bad? Like, even if it's like organic or let's say grass fed or free range and it doesn't have any antibiotics or hormones. Because like for me, in my case, like, I am actually a type, um, my blood type is O positive. And,
Same as me.
you're O positive too? Okay.
Yes, yes.
All right. So basically, so I had read this book, right? I don't know if you read it. It's called "Eat Right for Your Type" by like
Hmm.
Dr. Peter G. Adamo, and
Hmm.
basically in this book, apparently, um, so if you're type O, it is like it's the hunter. So you're a meat eater. You have like a hearty digestive tract
Hmm.
and overactive immune system, um, intolerant to dietary and
Hmm.
environmental adaptations, and responds best to stress with intense physical activity. Requires an efficient metabolism to stay lean and energetic. So, like
Hmm.
based on this book, the recommendation for the blood type O is to eat meat. So
Hmm.
high protein, high
Hmm.
protein, low carbohydrate,
Yeah.
um, to cut out wheat and most other grains, and engage in vigorous aerobic exercise. And
Because
yes,
our ancestors are all hunters.
and it says like the risk of ulcers and inflammatory diseases such as arthritis increase if you eat incorrectly for your blood type. So
Hmm.
with that, with saying that, I mean, do you think a plant-based diet is or a whole grain diet is really best for everyone?
Hmm. Well, actually, the first thing I want to state is that I do agree. I do agree with the blood type kind of diet. Um, on the basis that it is very scientifically founded. Okay, so I do pay tribute to dedicated scientists who discover a lot of amazing things about the biological the world and all this. But the thing is that even though you are a O plus type of diet, O plus type of blood, O plus blood type, and I'm also a O plus blood type as well. So and a lot according to that book, it is I would say is actually not in favor. What it is, what the author is trying to tell is that for us who are O plus, okay, blood group O plus, a vegetarian diet, a vegan diet is not in favor of us in a so-called in a in terms of how our body works, our enzymes, and how our body is actually hardwired in a certain sense. But that doesn't mean that a vegan diet, a vegetarian diet, is going to kill us all who are O plus blood group. Actually, if we were to go on a vegan diet, the thing is that a lot of things in life is never going to be perfect. You can tell me that Mr. Wong or Francesca, you both are this type of people. You are best born in a certain type of family where they champion liberty, they champion freedom, so that you can manifest your talent to the utmost potential and all this. Well, there are always some kind of ideal situation where you position yourself at so that you can express your talent to the maximum potential. That's the idea. But in real life, we know that that kind of situation is something that we can't so-called control. So you can call it that. me myself as being a, blood O group type of person, and I'm going on a vegan is a not a very perfect match. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to die of it. And also, you also have to understand that uh, our biological system is very, very agile. It's very flexible. So we always have alternative path. We always have alternative path to to bypass certain inefficiency and all this. So like I'm a living example of being a blood group O plus vegan. You see, so I would not. I really don't feel that kind of situation that I'm not suited for vegan diet. Yeah. Um, Along these years, what I can feel is that my health is actually getting better and better every year, provided that I put enough mindfulness in taking care of my yin and yang balance in my diet and take care of the diversity of my nutrition. And I do enough exercises. I do enough of balanced living and all this. And I, I I lead a very happy vegan life. So what I'm trying to tell you is that even though according to this scientist, we have a certain type of diet suited for different type of blood group. While this is being valid, that doesn't mean that if you do not eat that type of food that is recommended by the author, you're not going to you're not going to die definitely, and you're not going to be able to live very very healthily, because our body has got many backup system to bypass any kind of so-called inefficiency that may happen. So our biological body is much more complicated than that particular enzyme, whether we are born with or without, something like that. That will and so-called give us a so-called advantage to digest certain food or not digest certain food. For example, like let's say I'm not supposed to digest grains properly. Okay, because I'm a blood O, my blood group is O type, so I'm not supposed to digest grains properly. But with my wisdom, I soak my grains, I ferment my grains, so that makes it easier for me to digest. So eventually, I am still able to so-called sequester nourishment, the benefits from the grains by using my wisdom. And even though I don't soak them, I don't so-called I don't ferment them, I eat it directly. So I may feel some kind of so-called indigestivity because I'm not suited for that type of diet. But slowly, when I change my diet, okay, and I go into more spicy type of diet. So when if I were to go along something which is hard to digest, which is like oats or wheat, something like that, right? If I go along with Indian spices, some warming spices like chili, like turmeric, like cumin, like cinnamon, all these will boost my digestive fire to help me, being a O plus blood group person, not born to be unable to digest this very well, this food very well, uh, to improve my digestive fire. All this so-called augmentation in my diet will help me to get over the problem. So the book is written in such a way that where all other factors being the same, so a O plus blood group person will be more disadvantaged if he were to go on a vegan diet. That doesn't mean that he is not able to go on a vegan diet, provided that this O plus blood group person know some other ways, some skills to maneuver, to massage, to so-called to manage the situation, to make sure that I'm so-called to make it easier for me to go through the difficulty, something like that. Yeah. So in terms of our kitchen preparation, there are ways for us to get around, and our body, I'm very sure our body will also develop certain type of pathway to tackle the inefficiency of digesting so-called the wheat and oat and all this. Is that clear?
Well, I guess I will have to learn a lot more things on
There are
lessons.
a lot. There are indeed a lot of our body is very complicated. The biological science is very very sophisticated indeed. Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, but do you want me to add on something? This is just incidentally that trigger my sentiment that a lot of people tell me that no, oh, my grandma has got diabetes, my mom has got diabetes, my sister has got diabetes, so I think I have that diabetic genes already. So I think I'm destined to be diabetic in my whole life. So, this is a very good parable. That means, you are born with a certain bad gene, and you thought your whole life is actually so-called miserable. Am I right to say? So that is actually a wrong thinking. So me being an O plus blood group, it's just like how I'm born with a certain gene, not efficient for me to embrace veganism. But we have to always understand this thing. There's always this 50% nature and 50% nurture. Do you get what I mean? So we can still do a lot of things in our postnatal life to actually to change our fate. Let's say I am born with a diabetic gene, so I know that I'm actually predisposed to diabetes more easily than other people, many other people. So, but I don't necessarily must get diabetes. As long as I watch out for what I eat. I make sure that every meal that I eat, they are all high glycemic index food. So food that actually don't give me very very high quick speed of release of sugar into my bloodstream. Then I will be safe. I will not be affected by my diabetic genes. So there's one saying that having a bad gene carry over into your life. It's just like you're born with a revolver with all the six bullets already loaded in the revolver and now shove it to the next to your head. But you would not die if you don't pull the trigger. So who pulled the trigger? You yourself is the person who pulled the trigger by eating the wrong thing. Do you get what I mean? By putting in wrong management in your life. So I have all the diabetic genes in my revolver, but I don't have to be killed by diabetes. So now I'm being a vegan. I may be killed by my genes, which is not suitable for me to digest oats or vegan or wheat. But I don't have to pull it. I don't have to pull the trigger. I can actually, get around it by using some kind of manipulation, using my wisdom and all sorts. So, so I want to encourage people to think out of the square. You know, a lot of things that is told in the science, they are true, but you need to be able to interpret it in a more so-called, in a broader sense, because there are always alternative way out and backup path.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
hope I haven't made it more complicated for you, for everybody else here.
It's fine. But I guess it's a matter of just, learning more about, like, well, that's why I guess you offer these kind of classes so that people are more knowledgeable and how to, eat healthier and have a better diet, and depending on, whatever blood type you are, or, whether there's certain sicknesses or whatever. So
Yeah.
anyways, I would actually wanted to discuss with you today because COVID 19
Hmm. Mm.
is a serious issue right now, and cases are still increasing in the Philippines and worldwide. I mean, the Philippines alone, I think
Hmm.
70,000 plus, we cases, and many other countries, and then so also in many other countries around the world. So, with your wisdom, I would like to ask you, what would you recommend to people, people who are here watching, or to help boost the immune system and to improve the lung immunity?
Yes, definitely. I know this COVID-19 has been troubling us, every single person, every single earthling on Earth now, and it's really really daunting. I would say it has come to situation is getting more and more daunting to our life and all this. Um, I would say definitely follow the instructions by the government, doing the social distancing, wearing masks whenever we go out. But there may be people who are trying to will try to argue that the social distancing is not going to help you so much. So-called the wearing the mask is not going to protect you so much and all this. But doing it and without doing it, still there is a difference. We can reduce the speed of transmission and also the dosage of transmission. A lot of people they have this very wrong concept that contagious disease is like uh, yes or no. It's a black and white thing. What do I mean by that is that you either get it or don't get it. That's a very wrong concept because it's always a grayish area between being infected and non-infected, and meaning you can be very seriously infected to totally not infected. So most people have this kind of paradigm of thinking is that COVID-19 is bad. So I'm not going to get myself infected at all. So I'm going to, protect myself with triple layers of mask. I'm going to have 6 meters social distancing. I'm not going to get out of my house at all in the next 3 months. So that's one extreme of thinking. And the other type of extreme thinking is that well, we can't help. We are going to have one day sooner or later we're going to have the COVID-19 anyway. So why bother? Just don't wear mask. Just don't wear mask. And then I'll continue to shake hands. I'm not going to practice social distancing. So this type of person, when they get infected, they're going to get a huge dosage of infection. So they're going to be very, very seriously. They are the other extreme end. They're going to get very seriously infected to the extent that his immunity may not be able to launch the protection, the defense mechanism soon enough, quick enough to so-called, pull him back from falling off the cliff. That means he eventually may get into the ICU. And most of us who at least have a bit of a so-called, sensibility, and we are still abiding to governmental law and governmental advice. We still wear some mask. Maybe the mask is, we have been wearing it for 10 hours. It's really useless. But, to a certain sense, it will still shield off certain thing. And some people who are trying to do social distancing, sometimes they do half a meter, sometimes they do 1 meter. They are not really doing it very perfectly. But still, that cut down a lot of dosage of transmission. So in contagious disease, dosage is important. It's not about infect or not infect. But if let's say you are unfortunate that you get infected, you let's say the dosage is not very high, you would be able to so-called skip away from the fate of fatality or being sent to the ICU and or something like that. So that's why this is something that we must have, that basic thinking we must have. So, but that is not, we know that that is not going to be a very so-called a comprehensive way to save ourselves from COVID-19. So the last thing that we want, no, don't, I won't say the last thing. One more thing, but also also a very important thing we need to do is to boost our immunity. Okay, so other than practicing mask, putting up the mask and also social distancing, immunity boosting is our own responsibility because in case you do have a small dosage of so-called infection, if you do know how to boost your immunity, okay, if you know how to boost your immunity, then you would be able to save yourself a lot of so-called a lot of fortune in the hospital, or you save yourself also from stepping into the door of fatality and all this. So immunity is everybody's basic responsibility on top of wearing masks when you go and social distancing. And exactly how we should would be actually boosting immunity. Uh, we have to look into, of course, most people will tell us that we have to look into the lung defense system, the lung immunity,
Yeah.
and how exactly you can boost your lung so-called immunity. And here um, when the COVID-19 saga, the lockdown all throughout the world first started, I remember I put up on my Facebook some recommendation how we can actually boost our lung immunity. Um, Ironically, um, things that we should do to improve our lung immunity is not directly on our lung. So a lot of people, oh, if I want to boost our hair vitality, I'm going to put on some hair cream. If I want to boost my skin vitality, I'm going to put on some skin cream. But lung, we cannot put on some kind of medicine directly sniff into the lung. So exactly how we boost our immunity in the lung is actually help is actually boosting first look into our uh, colon wellness. Yes, actually, this is actually this wisdom is derived from the traditional Chinese medicine, because in traditional Chinese medicine, the five within the the teachings by the teachings of the five element theory, the lung, our big colon, our colon is actually a reflection of a lung. Okay, these two are actually a reflex. They are actually a reflex, like how people do foot reflexology for you. So you have migraine on your head, but there's a foot therapist who can do some kind of foot massage on your reflexology, reflexology on your feet, and you realize that suddenly the migraine is gone. So the ironic thing is that when you have migraine, the therapist did not massage your head. The worst thing you want her to do for you is to massage your head, because it's even more so-called aching and all this. So actually, if you the next time when you have a migraine, you should be doing what? Doing your hot foot bath, hot hot foot bath actually. So it's always the top of our body reflected from at the bottom of our body. So the lung is reflected, you know, at the reverse side of the second half of our body. That is our colon actually. So if you want to improve your lung vitality, you improve first your colon vitality. So how do you improve your colon vitality? Number one, you must cleanse. You have to cleanse, make sure you go to toilet every day. You have good bowel movement. That's what I always tell people. If you really want to know how good your lung defense system is, then you look into everyday bowel. I'm a bit gross. This session will be a bit gross, because I'm going to ask people to look at your poo poo actually. So make sure, number one, ideally, you would like to go to toilet twice a day. But if you can't do it, at least once a day. And that one day, that one time that you actually do your purgation, make sure that you have the tallying amount of poo poo. You can't be yesterday eating a big buffet, and this morning when you go to toilet, you only have a very short banana size of poo poo, and then you tell people, oh, I've really gone to toilet. I'm so happy I've got bowel movement. The amount of your output is not telling with what you ate yesterday. Then you have to put in your mind. You have to be mindful already. Something is wrong with your colon system. If your colon system is not very, very vital, that means that your lung is not going to be vital as well, because the white blood cell, which is your immune system, are all drawn into the colon to fight the bad bacteria in your poo poo that is stuck up inside your colon. Okay, so we always have to have this basic paradigm of thinking, this basic idea. We have a finite amount. We do have a finite amount of white blood cell inside our body. So they are just likened to our soldiers, likened to our police force and all this. So let's say your colon is very, very dirty. So most of the police and soldiers are all drawn to the colon. So when most of the, with, let's say, if most of the police force and the army force are all stationed at your colon to fight, to ward off the bad bacteria inside your colon, so do you think your lung will have enough police force? We have enough army force? No. Do you get what I mean? So same thing. When a lot of energy has been drawn down to the colon to so-called to fight against the dirty stuff inside your colon, your lung, who is the sister, who is the reflex sister of your colon, will be drained off of energy. So this is a very important idea that you must have. And one more gross thing to talk about in the toilet bowl, that is, when you poo-poo, you have to also observe that whether your poo-poo is sticky or not. If your poo-poo is sticky, okay, if your poo-poo is sticky, then that means it's going to get stuck up inside your the inner lining of your colon. Even though you seem to have a decent amount of poo-poo, okay, but when you wipe your buttock, I'm so sorry. It's not dinner time yet. I think it's fine. So when you wipe your poo with your buttock with the toilet paper, and if you wipe 3 times, 4 times, it's still there stain. That means your poo is really really sticky, and it's going to. That means your purgation is not clean. If your purgation is not clean, meaning it's going to drain your energy. It's going to have a lot of leftovers, bad stuff inside your colon. So with that, it's going to draw energy from your lung, and your lung will be deprived of immunity as well. Is that clear? With some very gross examples.
Yeah, I guess so. People should do a detox then, or colon
Mm,
colon cleanse,
yes,
or some kind of. So you were
yes, yes, yes.
right now.
That's why during the lockdown, some people have been showing off how they have been cooking so well in their kitchen during the lockdown period and all this. But sometimes it kind of saddened me to a certain extent that what I see these people during lockdown, what they cook is like late night baking, a lot of fatty food, a lot of animal products, a lot of creamy food, which are all very very sticky to the colon.
Mhm.
They are eating a lot of fried food, manufactured food, fatty food, and all this, which are very acidic, which is very hard to purge off from our colon. In fact, we should be eating more vegetables. We should be eating more fiber. In fact, I recommend if you want to improve your so-called lung immunity, you want how of course, like what we say, you want to make sure that your colon is clean all the time. So you also want to make sure that your poo is not sticky. So one very good way is to eat a lot of, in Manila, you guys call atlai, which is barley. Barley. Barley has got a lot of mucilage. Atlai has got a lot of mucilage, which is a kind of so-called water-soluble kind of fiber, and that will help actually, make sure that the stool are, become slippery. They don't get stuck up to the inner lining of the colon. And another thing that is very good would be the Chinese, if they are so-called familiar with white fungus, and they can also take more chia seed, which is also a lot of mucilage, and uh, and once a week, I would highly recommend people take this white radish soup. White radish soup, because white radish itself is very very good in stimulating the peristalsis of the colon to do clean purgation. So it's a very very good. I ever posted this white radish soup detox soup in my Facebook before as well, and it's a very simple recipe. Basically, you just boil white radish with the white radish leaves, okay, along with maybe if you are Chinese, you are familiar with red date, you can put in a bit of red dates, and you can put a bit of walnut, okay, just to sweeten the soup. And and eventually you so-called flavor it with a bit of sea salt and all this, and that give you a very very simple, straightforward detox soup, and recommended to take once a week, because you just in case throughout the week you have been eating whatever not, and things are stuck inside the colon. So every one day, every week, you at least there's one day that you're eating this white radish soup that help you to make sure that your colon do a total cleanup every week. And with a clean colon, then naturally that will spare energy to your lung to help your lung to improve the immunity. That's what I've been doing during the lockdown as well, and I feel absolutely good about it.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Well, that's a great tip. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Could you share some more of your personal practices that you've been doing during this lockdown period?
Mm-hmm. Um, and in fact, I'm a person who really got very concerned about this COVID-19 as well, and I'm not afraid of so-called what say I should say I'm not afraid of being infected, but I'm afraid of I don't have enough defense system to fight against the COVID-19. That's the basic paradigm of thinking I have. So that's why ever since the beginning of the lockdown, I told myself I have to make sure that I improve my immunity, just in case I'm unlucky, I got infected when I go out. During the lockdown, I actually minimized in Malaysia. We had lockdown of 3 months. During that 3 months, I only went out for 4 times to buy grocery, and most of the time I actually did online ordering and all this. So I actually minimize my exposure to the germ. I mean to the virus actually. But then again, I still told myself it's my basic responsibility for the good of my family and all sorts. I have to boost my immunity. So other than those things that chia seed barley, which I constantly taking it every week, and also in fact every week when I order my grocery, I make sure that I at least have white radish delivered once a week to me. So every week I'm taking one time, at least one time of white radish soup, and on top of yeah,
Yes.
I was saying that on top of what I've been doing on top of those the outline, the white fungus, the white radish soup that I've been taking to help me to cleanse my colon. I was also doing this intermittent fasting during this lockdown period to boost my immunity. So I was mentioning that I wake up 6:30 in the morning, but I won't eat breakfast until 9:30
Mm-hmm.
because in intermittent fasting we have a restricted window of food intake. So from 9:30 that is the time I have my first meal of the day, and during noontime I will just take a power nap because that having a good nap will afternoon nap, but this afternoon nap have to be in the midday, has to be in the midday. Okay, you can't anyhow sleep during the day because if you sleep anyhow during the day at the wrong time, it will actually dampen your metabolism and it can actually cause in long term it will cause you adverse effect on your health as well. So if you want to have afternoon nap, it has to be midday afternoon nap in between 11 to 1 p.m., 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. So I'll choose that period of time. I'll have a 20 minutes nap in the afternoon, mid noon. And after that, when I wake up, I will have some light food. That's my light lunch, maybe a salad, maybe a fruit, a piece of fruit, something like that. And I will not have the next meal, which is my third meal. That's my last meal also, that is the dinner until like maybe 4:30 I will start cooking. 5 o'clock I will be eating, and 5:30 I will be finishing my dinner. So I have very early dinner. So I finish by 5:30. So from 9:30 to 5:30, so that is a 8 hours window of so-called food intake, and this is called intermittent fasting because with 8 hours window of eating, I am left with 16 hours of not eating from 5:30 p.m. onwards until the next morning 9:30. I'm basically empty stomach. So people will be asking, don't you feel hungry? Yes, if I do feel hungry, I will be drinking some herbal tea, that doesn't have any caffeine. And sometimes I don't take. I'll take Chinese tea, good Chinese tea. The tea that I'm taking is from Highland, and also is belong to very old tree. So their caffeine and tannin is very very low. So I am able to sleep drinking my Chinese tea. But don't anyhow get Chinese tea outside unless you know the quality of it. If the Chinese tea is very good quality, it will not have a lot of tannin and caffeine. Then after drinking, you can go to sleep. But if you're sensitive, you then you would not want to take the Chinese tea. Then you will take some herbal tea that doesn't have caffeine. So what is this herbal tea for? That is, it actually help dilute off your digestive juice from 5:30 p.m. onwards. So I have my dinner done by 5:30. So I will allow myself 2 to 3 hours to digest the food, and I would not drink. I would not feel any hunger until like maybe 8:30
Mm-hmm.
until 8:30 or something like that. So from 8:30 onwards, then only I will make myself some herbal tea, and it has to be hot. It has to be hot, and I sip. And this hot herbal tea will actually help you to help. It actually helped me to so-called dilute off the hunger sense. Okay, it warms up my stomach so that my stomach doesn't get attacked, doesn't have gastric attack. So that's very important. So I will keep on drinking this herbal tea or floral tea. Like my herbal tea is like chamomile tea, like mint tea, like pandan tea or lemongrass tea or Chinese tea, something like that. So until like maybe 11 o'clock, I go to sleep sometimes. I sleep a bit later sometimes. But whatever it is, this tea must not affect your sleep. And then the next morning when I wake up, I'll just do some yoga. some qigong and also meditation, and
Mhm.
then I'll set up my stuff to do my work and all this, and then 9:30 that will be, of course 8:30 onwards I'll be preparing my breakfast. 9:30 we'll have my breakfast. So this intermittent fasting will help us to actually so-called boost our immunity on a daily basis. Have you guys heard of, when you do fasting, you actually can reset, it's like likened to pressing on the immune system reset button. So
Yeah.
if you think your immune system have not been good, it is probably good for you to do a short-term fasting. Even fasting of as short as even one full day will actually help you tremendously reset the vitality of your immune system, basically. So what's more, if I were to do an intermittent fasting on a daily basis, well, even though on daily basis I'm doing only 16 hours of so-called fasting, but I'm doing it on the daily basis for 3 months. So that actually keep on doing a small reset of on my immune system every day. So accumulatively, I will have a strong immunity when I keep on doing this intermittent fasting. That's the idea.
Wow. So when you say intermittent fasting, as in you don't take anything, not even like liquids allowed, right? Liquids allowed.
Eat liquid allowed, but no calorie. A lot of people they kind of deceive themselves. Oh, I'm so hungry
Like
at 9 o'clock. I'm good.
coffee.
Can I have a cup of Milo? Can I have a cup of hot chocolate? That's liquid. That's not food. But hot chocolate is so much of sugar in there. So that is a cheating, outright cheating. So you can take beverage, but no calorie in there.
So juices, if there's any calorie in juice, most of
No way, no way. That's why you have to be strict on that in order to have the so-called immune reset kind of capability, the so-called the advantage in there. But of course, I understand some people when they heard of fasting, they're really kind of shiver already. They're really having goosebump. They're already having goosebump. Oh, I can't go without food. And in fact, I have got some students who are trying to go on the intermittent fasting. They keep on having a lot of complaints. They say they are so hungry and hungry and hungry. But actually, a lot of things is in our mind. It's actually in our mind. So when you're going through this intermittent fasting, if you can calm yourself down, if you can calm yourself down and tell yourself, there's some kind of cycling, of course, yeah. So you have to tell yourself, it is not, it's not truly hunger. It's not truly hunger. It's just that your stomach is empty. Your stomach is empty. It's not equal to hunger. So you don't necessarily must take food whenever your stomach is empty. And in fact, Francesca, you attended my nutrition course. In the nutrition course, we mentioned that it is actually good to, from time to time, on a daily basis, to let our gut to have enough time to be empty stomach,
Mhm.
to so that they can rest, so that they can do their housekeeping. That is very important. So
Right.
by hook or by crook, you abide to that 8 plus 16 rule. That means 8 hours of eating window and 16 hours of absolutely not eating. If you do feel hungry, you can drink herbal tea that is non-caffeine and must be hot, and you sip. That will actually help you dilute off the hunger. And
Mm.
and at night, if let's say you really feel that you like shivering already, because there are people when they are doing this intermittent fasting, what do they experience is that at night they are still very, very so-called very uptight. They are still doing a lot of work, whether it's work or housework or their family work or whatsoever. And even they would actually go for exercise at night, for late night exercise and all that. That is not recommended if you were to do on to be on this intermittent fasting. So let's say you exert yourself too much at night. And you already stop eating from 5:30 onwards. Of course, your sugar is going to get burned off extra quick, extra quickly. So that's why you suddenly will go through some kind of a hypoglycemia, and then you will feel that kind of shivering and some heart palpitation and all this. And that can be resolved by changing your lifestyle,
Mhm.
by not exerting after night, after dark. And
Mhm.
at night, we encourage people to engage in your hobby, playing some music, even watch some TV, just be really laze yourself off, really laze off. Then you will not have that kind of a pressing hunger feeling when you're on this intermittent fasting. So this intermittent fasting is absolutely suitable for everybody.
Mhm.
Absolutely suitable for everybody except young kids and others. And it is very good in boosting our immunity. And especially during this COVID-19 time, I think everybody should have a good take, should take some, take this opportunity to experience it. Yeah, you may not be able to do this 9:30 to 5:30 eating window because some people go to work and they wouldn't finish their work until 6 o'clock, and their dinner time usually is 7:30 or 8.
Yeah.
So, well, if you can't do it on a daily basis, you can still do it on a Saturday, Sunday. Am I
Mhm.
right to say? So if you can do 2 days of intermittent fasting per week, it's still better than none. So
Yeah.
that's the idea. Mm.
Okay. Well, great. Thank you for that tip.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Um, Also, just a couple people had some questions. So,
Yeah,
what about what's your thoughts about probiotics? So they help boost the immune system, and
yeah.
what kind of vitamins and supplements would you
Uh,
recommend to take?
yes, definitely probiotics will help you boost your immune system as well. On the basis that your gut is really kind of infested with a lot of bad bacteria and others. And yes, in fact, coming up. Oh, it's actually tomorrow. Tomorrow, for those people who are still able to make it, I encourage you guys to contact me afterwards after the session. Tomorrow, Monday and Wednesday, I'm actually organized. I'm actually teaching nutrition for digestive health, where we talk so much about the our gut system, our probiotics and all this. But here in a nutshell, probiotics definitely is very important for our modern living. It's absolutely important. But one important advice is that you must get a probiotics which is from a reliable manufacturer, because there are a lot of funny supplements out there, I have to say, because the supplement industry is a very lucrative industry. So there are a lot of whatever not funny people participating in the market and all this, and they could be selling you a lot of things which are not probiotics, which are not clinically proven probiotics, and they tell you that it is probiotics. So this is something that you have to do your own due diligence, and you do your own homework. And if you would like to know more about how to choose the right probiotics and how to do fermentation, how to take care of your gut health and all this, and tomorrow the digestive health nutrition course will be very important for you. Yeah.
Where can the viewers find that, or how can
just
they
click
on
just click on my name, and link it to my
Facebook?
Facebook profile, or just type Wong Kee Yew, WONGKEE and YEW, and you find me on the Facebook. Then you'll see me putting this advertisement already on on my page, basically. Yeah,
Okay.
you may want to scroll down a little bit because might have been replaced by some new posts.
Okay, great. Thank
Mhm,
you.
mhm.
Also, someone just asked a question. What is the best herbal medicine you can advise for sticky phlegm?
Oh, you see, sticky phlegm would be something like which is a part of your respiratory tract as well. So it's a lung system. So again, instead of targeting on the lung, target on your gut. Basically, whatever I just mentioned, if you could actually take chia, you can actually take atli or barley, white fungus, white radish. When your colon is clean, you realize that your phlegm will be cleared up as well.
Wow.
But if you want to have something more convenient, mint tea would be very good. Lemongrass would be also very good. Mint and lemongrass both are very good in purgation, in helping us to actually purge our colon.
How about ginger tea? Because that seems to be a common thing that people take.
Oh yes, ginger tea actually ginger is not specific. Ginger is not very specific for the colon, but ginger is good for the small intestine.
Mhm.
Ginger is very okay. Uh, wait yes, ginger is very good for the small intestine because of its spiciness. The wait no, actually, oh yes, I got it mixed up. Ginger is also very good for the colon system as well. So it actually trigger the peristalsis. It actually trigger both the small intestine and the large intestine. and so that your vitality of your both your small and large intestine, colon, are active in purgation. So ginger will definitely help. So definitely, I will recommend ginger with lemongrass together when you boil them in a herbal tea. Yeah, that will also help clear the phlegm. Yeah,
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
What kind of food would you recommend to eat? I know you said radish, but other than radish and
There's so many things that you can eat during you just eat like normal, but the idea is that you want to focus on making sure that your colon is clean, and I recommended a few things which are good for purgation, which I already mentioned just now. Those things like with a lot of mucilage, like chia seed, like like white fungus,
idea.
yeah. Yeah, and atlai, and I would say atlai or pearl barley or barley would be something that you have to take it so often. Yeah, maybe at least once every 2 days or so, alternative days. Or there are times I actually take it on a daily basis. Yeah, because they are so good in making sure your colon is clean.
Okay. And the best way to prepare it, just like you said,
Mm,
sprouting, soaking,
yeah,
sprouting,
definitely.
and and
You soak
steaming.
your Yeah, you soak your atlai, you soak your pearl barley, and then you can cook it into a liquid, cook it into a barley drink, or you can actually outright add into your rice every time you cook your rice. Yeah,
Mm.
there are so many ways, and in fact, recently I just did a experiment that is I did a tempeh out of my pearl barley, which is so nice as well. So there are many ways to enjoy it. It's up to you. You can just search online per barley or atlai dishes in whatever. I'm quite sure the internet will give you a lot of suggestion how you can eat your atlai. As long as you are eating it, then you will be able to clear your bowel more smoothly. Very important.
Okay. Well, thank you. You know, I have this book. This is look familiar to you. This is actually a book written by Kee Yew. Maybe you'd like to tell. Is this available in the Philippines? Because it's such a good book. Like seriously, it's a cookbook.
It is not available in Philippines, but if there are enough people requesting for it, I actually can mail it to Philippines. From time to time, I do mail a few copies to Philippines upon request. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a very very nice cookbook with 64 recipes, all vegan and all low temperature cooking and all this. Yeah.
But it says to use a Thermomix. What?
Mm.
I don't know if that's available. Is it?
Yes, because it happens that the sponsor, the publisher of this book, when I published this book, I didn't have to fork out a single cent. In fact, because it is sponsored by a Thermomix company in Malaysia. So they are cooking machine seller, distributor. So this book is actually written in the language of the Thermomix. That means, at what speed, at using what button and all this. But don't be intimidated by this format that I actually written my book in, because all these recipes were developed from my traditionally written recipes that I converted into a Thermomix language. And when you buy this book, when you see the recipe written in that language, you can always improvise it back to the traditional, into the traditional way of cooking, because the Thermomix itself can help you do blending and cooking at the same time. So if you are doing on a traditional pot, so you can just cook it first and then just put it into a normal blender and blend it basically. Yeah. So of course, but unfortunately, Thermomix is not available in Manila just yet, or in Philippines just yet. Otherwise, I would encourage you guys to get one as well. But meanwhile, while you do not have access to Thermomix, this cookbook, although written in Thermomix language, will still help you cook in a very very creative way. Um, yeah, you can still improvise
Yeah.
from it. You basically
It's
think.
such a good book. It has all the different recipes and the different
Yeah.
kind of grains that you can
Yes. Yes.
use, and yeah, condiments. And I know
Yes.
you also make your pay or whatever.
Yep.
You have all this soups and yeah, beautiful book, really. Yeah. So if anyone's interested in this book, message me, message Kee Yew,
Yep.
and maybe we
Yep.
can get
Yeah, perhaps
come over.
Francesca, you can
Yeah.
you can do a consolidation in Manila site in Philippines, and then I can mail everything all together to you. Then you can help me distribute.
Yeah, so,
Okay. Hmm.
all right. Well, thank you. So your the digestive health course coming up, and any
Mm.
other courses coming up, maybe we could that you
Yes.
would like to promote and tell the
Yes, there's
people to
one
learn
very
more.
important. There's something that I nearly forgot to advertise and all this. On the 17th to the 19th of August, I'm coming up with this cancer nutrition course actually. So I
Oh,
is
that's
yes, yes, it's very very important. I've been putting a lot of effort in doing up the PowerPoint, a lot of information in detailing how cancer actually arise in the course, in the 3 days intensive course. We're talking about how cancer arise in a we will take a review from a comprehensive point of view, and a scientific point of view, of course, and also we will talk about what are the causes that actually bring us to the path of getting cancer, and from there we analyze how we can actually resolve the problem. How we can actually try to prevent ourselves from getting cancer. And for those people who already gotten cancer, this course would be very very important for them to know what to eat and how to eat. I would not I would Here I would like to make a disclaimer. This course is not helping people to cure cancer, not helping people to cure cancer, but to support people who are already with cancer or want to prevent cancer. How they should be eating, and should what are the things, what are the do's and what are the don'ts in their daily diet and lifestyle and all this. So important. So this is the first time the Veg School coming up with this course, and it will be a
wonderful.
premier it will be a premier run. And I would encourage a lot of people to pick up this course, because it's a lot of it's a summary of my past so-called maybe 20 years of learning, my past 20 years of learning. Yeah. So for your information, I came from a pharmaceutical biotechnology background. My honors thesis was on this immunology, so-called, no, it is antibody engineering for what, immunotherapy for cancer. And I also spent at least 3 years on, at least 2.5 years on gastric cancer research and all this. And bulk of my research life, I spent a lot of time on this so-called genetic research in stem cell regenerative medicines. So there are a lot of important messages I want to tell you through this course. And I hope audiences could, I know it's a weekday, but I would say it's worth taking the 3 days off from work if you really want to, know what to do, what not to do to prevent cancer, and also to take care of a cancer patient.
Mm. Yeah, Lori just said she's joining.
Very
So,
good. Yeah. Yeah.
Lori, hello. Thank you, everybody who signed in. I'm so happy that you guys were able to watch. Sorry about the interruption, but I think this is you can watch both videos. They're on Awakened Soul, and thank you, Kiyu. It's always so informative, and I learn so much from you every time we have a chat. And yeah, your courses, that's amazing. The things that you're doing, really. So, does anybody else have any questions? But because we're going to end the session, but I think that's we covered most people's questions. Yeah. So, Veg
Mhm.
School, you can find Veg School also. So that were all the courses you offer on Facebook. So,
Yeah, yeah. Just type THEVEGSCHOOL. Yeah, remember it's VEG, not Veggie School. A lot of people think it's Veggie School. It's Veg School, VEG. Yeah. So if
yeah.
you type that keyword in the Facebook, you should be able to find the page.
And you can also find Kee Yew on
Yeah.
Facebook. Yes, Wong Kee Yew, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, and yeah, so thank you very much. And yeah, we'll see each other soon again.
Yeah, it's such a pleasure. And thanks, Francesca, having me here today. And I am really, really grateful that I have this session to be able to share my mission with. Okay, and also to try to help as much general public as much as possible on their vegan and healthy and have healthy path. You are the person who to enable me to fulfill my mission today. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. It's a blessing to have you here. And yeah, I look forward to learning more from you. So,
All right, cool.
all right. Enjoy, everybody, the rest of your Sunday. All right.
Thank you. Have a happy weekend.
Take care.
Bye bye, everybody.
Bye.